Hello, and welcome to tonight's live stream. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. To all the collective crew who are here, welcome members. To all the new people who are here, welcome. So, mobile videography. There's a reason I chose this. There's a reason I reached out to Judie, who's a member of the Creator Collective. I'll introduce myself quickly there in a second and talk about the collective in a second. But the reason I want this workshop to go ahead was because we're living in a very, very digital age. Not many people want a big mirrorless camera or DSLR or anything like that. A lot of people are business owners, and a lot of creators are just they're adapting to this run and gun style of videography, and they want the freedom. And obviously, it doesn't just have to be run and gun. It could be extremely professional setup. You can have massive corporate shoots done. We've seen it, and this lady here we're going to introduce soon, Judie Russell, does this for a living, and she's extremely good at it. Some of the quality of the work that she puts out is amazing. I am Woodard. I'm the founder of the Creator Collective. The collective is I always get this muddled up. It's you think I have my spiel ready. It is a digital community for members only, for digital creators. So what it is full of videographers, podcasters, photographers, web designers, graphic designers, and it's all just we're all sharing work, we're sharing opinions, we're asking for help. There's great sections in there like collaborations, book club, where we're sharing each other what books we're reading, this kind of stuff. It's kind of we're there to empower each other and lift each other up. And I'm there. God, I've been a creator now. I've been in this game for 10 years, nearly 10 years plus, and I'm just there to help and share my wisdom that I can with the members. And like, I try and host. Well, we launched on the 17th of August, not 2 weeks ago, and I try to. I'm starting to host like hot seats for people if they need help with anything. They can come on and call with me. As a member, you get a 1-to-1 each quarter with me, and I'm happy to help in any way I can. With like my background is filmmaking and marketing basically, and I'm happy to help any way I can. But that's me, that's the collective. I'm going to show you a small video which I saw today, which I was highly impressed with. I was like, this is class. And I showed it to Julie earlier. She's like, yeah, it's perfect. Because I was like, I didn't know about it because I literally ripped it from her YouTube, so I hope she was okay with it. But check this video out, guys. This video introduces Judie perfectly.
When I was born, my parents had a successful business and everything that goes with it. A beautiful house with a pool, fancy cars, and we even had a video camera. And that was back in the mid-80s. But one day, it all came to an end. The business, the house, the cars, and the video camera were all sold. But we did keep the videotapes. For years, that footage was all I had to remind myself of what seemed like a past life. And when I watch back now, I cannot believe how lucky I am to have all of those special moments captured forever. And that is why I love video. Since then, I have spent the majority of my career working in television and video production. And now through the Vid Academy, I get to teach organisations and individuals how to make videos themselves. I know the power of video, both professionally and personally. And I'm so grateful that I get to do this for a living.
Oh, what a video. Judie Russell, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you. Thank you for showing that. It's a good intro and it saves a lot of
Perfect.
time as well.
Yeah, it was awesome. Well done. It's a real throwback. I was getting nostalgia feeling watching. I was like, oh man, I wish I had those video clips.
I know, I'm so lucky, and making that video was actually quite cathartic. I got the videos made into hard drives years ago, so I had all the footage and stuff, but actually putting together a 1 minute, description or a 1 minute script, like I teach people to do it all the time, but then when you have to do it for yourself, for something personally, you really have to practice what you preach and put it all together. But it was a great experience to do. Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, for sure. I'm delighted to be here.
Absolutely. So can you give me some background on you and where you started in video? Obviously we saw the little intro, but what was the next step after that? How did you learn? Where did you educate yourself?
Well, I didn't think that video was going to be a career option for me. I didn't think that I was allowed to do video. I was like, you have to do something normal, do business. So I did business, which was good to study, and it has actually paid off for me later in life with video, because now I teach businesses video, and having, you know, qualification in business is something that I was just able to kind of marry well. But I went off traveling after I did my master's, and I ended up in Costa Rica. And in Costa Rica, I was applying for any job now. I'd no Spanish, I'd no money. I was there, and I had nothing to my name. And this job came up on Craigslist for a news spokeswoman. I didn't even know what it meant, and I went for the interview anyway. And it was within an affiliate marketing company. They were an American company who had moved to Costa Rica, and what they did is like they just sent people to different sports betting places through their kind of marketing forum and videos. So that's where I learned to present, script, research, and all of that stuff. But I didn't learn the technical stuff. I had to come back to Ireland then and do a 1-year course in Tralee, actually.
Oh, really?
FÁS course. Yeah, a FÁS course at
Nice.
the time. Best year of my life. It was brilliant. It's now the Kerry Education and Training Centre, I think.
Okay.
It's still being run, and I'd recommend it to everyone. It's
It's
brilliant.
the Wild West down there, like.
Totally.
The Wild West. Are you from Kerry, or what's the crack? Are you from
No,
Cork?
no. I'm from Cork, and when I was going down there, actually, you know, my mum was like, "Where are you going to live?" And I was like, "A mobile home," and she was like, "What?" She was like, "You can't live in a mobile home. You have to get an apartment in the town." And I was like, "I'm not getting an apartment. I'm gonna find a mobile home." I went in Dundee that evening, and I was like, "Mobile home near Tralee," and one of the first places that came up, it was like 50 quid a week. I had a 2-bed
That's
mobile home
insane.
with Sky TV, Jay. It was just wonderful. It was brilliant.
Sounds amazing. I'm from Clardy, so I know that neck of the woods well.
Very
Too well,
good.
some say. Too well.
And do
Well,
you live in Cork, Jay? Or do you live
yeah, I
in...
live in Middleton. Yeah, I live in Middleton now with my
Ah,
family, my
right.
wife and kids. So that's where I'm
Brilliant.
based. I married a Cork woman, so I got stuck here, you know?
And I saw a great post by you today on social media. Did you
Oh,
get your
God.
kid up and dressed to go to school? And it's
Well,
tomorrow. It's
he
nice.
woke us all up. It was a 6 a.m. start. He just got everyone up, excited out of his brains. And then everything, lunch was packed. We went to we drove down. I thought, geez, we're very early. There's no one here. And then Jules checked the time. I was like, oh my God. But sure, look,
Oh my God.
that's my luck for you. It's typical Woodard. Good luck.
It's so well prepared though. Tomorrow now it's
I
going to be a
know.
disaster. You're going to be
Yeah, oh,
late. There's
absolutely.
going to be no
Yeah. Yeah,
lunches.
we'll all sleep in tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about the Vid Academy.
So then it was, well, I worked on lots of things over a course of years. I was producing videos for businesses or corporate videos. I worked on the Young Offenders movie. I worked on, I had my own TV show with Irish TV, and I edited The Fear. It was a hidden camera show. And so I kind of got all of this experience, but it ended up in a burnout. The burnout was from Irish TV because of the deliverable. I had to make a 24-minute episode every week to air. And it was like impossible. It was impossible to do, and especially it was a tiny
Yeah.
budget. I'll
And
just
was
tell
that a
you how much it
series?
was.
Was that a series scenario, or was that like 6 episodes per series, or was it constant kind of rolling?
Constant,
Oh my
never ever ending.
goodness.
Yeah, like
Oh my
even
goodness. And what was the budget? Let us know.
€850 an episode.
That Did you own the equipment? Did you have to rent it?
I owned all the equipment. I had a Canon
Oh my
C300.
God.
I had Sennheiser wireless mics. I had like a van that I drove around. I had to get a camera person 2 days a week. Like, I don't know what in my brain thought that it was a good idea to take it, but it was my own show. And you know, I
Yeah.
was in my, like, I was probably just 30 at the time. Getting my own show was huge.
Big deal.
But I
Big
would,
deal.
but it was just like, and I thought it would go somewhere. They ended up, the company went into liquidation, so it was like a really flat landing. And then I was like, do you know what? I'm going to give up video. I'm going to get a normal job and just stop doing it because it's just not going anywhere. So I did
Yeah.
get a normal job, enjoyed the normal job. But after about a year, I was like, I still miss video. And then I was like, maybe I could merge all this stuff in project management I'm learning through my new job into video production and take a much more structured approach to it than I was taking before. And then if I could teach that to other people. And do you know what? It's been a brilliant few years now. It's probably 5 years since my first workshop, maybe even 6. And
Awesome.
I've probably taught thousands of people how to plan, film, and edit since. And it's real rewarding. Like it's much more rewarding than creating content, I find.
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. And how did you fare through the pandemic? Did you kind of just start creating more courses? Did you lean into the just more content creation, or was it you kind of took a step back and just promoted and built skills?
It was all courses. At least once a week, or twice a week, I'd say I was delivering a course within a company. So it's
Mm,
usually, a company will come to me and they'll get their marketing team trained up, or their sales team, or the whole company sometimes as
mm,
well, so that everyone has somewhere to start. So it was just constant. It was just really busy, and it's good for like team building as well. Like it's a
of
bit of
course.
fun, and it's not
Yeah.
as serious as some of the business kind of upskilling that you do. This is like, go home and make a video of your kids for the weekend, but
Yeah.
just come
Yeah.
back
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
show me what you've done, kind of thing. So
Yeah. And did they kind of, obviously with the boom of Zoom, pardon the pun, whatever that was, the rhyming, I saw on your website that you do, like on YouTube, I saw the Zoom workshops and stuff you're doing with the green screen. Did you have much corporates kind of reach out for that, or was that
loads and loads of schools, loads of
oh yeah,
teachers
of course.
through through the Jeepers, I can't remember the name of the organisation, but it was like teachers all over Ireland, and they would jump on the Zoom, and I teach them some presentation skills for camera, because I think, but without thinking about it, you're like, oh, presenting to camera and presenting to a room full of people is the same thing. They're actually completely different skills. They're
Hmm.
harnessed in the same one, but like you need to know different things. So I was even just teaching people Zoom settings and things like that, because I was using it every day, so it was quite easy then just to turn it
Yeah, of
into
course.
slides and
Yeah,
then teach it to others. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, look, let's dive into let's kind of this, the basics, because I think that's what viewers will get the most out of this, and our members in the collective as well, when they're, because this goes straight to the video library for them. So is there a certain type of phone you use? Is there a camera you would recommend? Like what resolution? Would you prefer me to kind of just ask these questions directly to you and
Yeah,
then we chat about it? Or yeah, so
sure.
like best phone, best camera. I know you were saying you're using an iPhone 12 at the moment. Is that kind of what you're thinking, what you recommend, or
Well, I've three iPhones. I've gone a bit overboard now. I've got the 11, the 12, and the 13. And the reason I have three is for interview setups. So I'll use the 12 and 13 as close-ups on the two people speaking, cross-share
mm-hmm.
them, and then I'll have the 11 as the wide.
Where's the
And
white?
then I can kind of either record them straight into the camera, or I also have an 8M Mini Pro, which is kind of like a mini mixer that allows you to switch live between the different cameras if you're doing a live stream or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't do those for myself. I'm usually kind of working with other people, or like the reason I buy this stuff as well is to show other people what they can do, so then they're not going
Mm-hmm.
off and spending crazy money, and then I can bring it into their companies, show them what's possible, and then take them back again.
And are you recording directly to phone there, or are you connected to computer and recording to hard drive on the computer?
So in right now, or
Sorry,
usually?
no, sorry, excuse me. Like let's say that three camera setup there that you were just speaking about.
Yeah, no, I'm recording into, God, let me think about it now. I haven't done it in a while with the 810. I oh Yeah, with my 810 Mini Pro, it's not the more advanced one. You can't record onto the actual device.
Okay.
So what I'm doing is I'm pressing record in Filmic Pro, as on the three cameras, so I have a backup
Hmm.
just in case. And then I'm usually going through something like OBS or even StreamYard or
Yeah.
something like that. So
Yeah.
then I can record a full quality version
That
onto that.
captures
So
the screen then. So it captures the edit that it's happening in person.
yeah, yeah. So then
Now,
I've got
for
two
someone,
options.
yeah,
Yeah.
for someone who it doesn't know what we're talking about, OBS is a streaming software that you can get. It's free. It's what a lot of Twitch people use, and it's just if you're recording like this to a camera or a phone, you can use that as a live stream, and it gives you a key, and it's a whole thing. You can Google yourself, but check it out. Um, so you're saying any phone kind of works that has HD or 4K resolution?
Yeah, I pretty much like anyone's phone nowadays has good enough video quality.
Yeah.
Obviously, they get better and better. Like the iPhone 13, the reason that I wanted to buy that was because of the cinematic mode. And try it if you have an iPhone 13. Just open up your phone, switch it to cinematic mode, and just look at that blurriness that it gives you, which is quite an expensive looking
Yeah,
look that
it
you
really
usually have to
is.
pay money for. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it does this now, but it's doing it digitally. Usually on
Mm.
traditional cameras, it's not digital. It's within the lens and optics and stuff. But this is digital version of it, so it's not precise. But
Mm.
like I've shown it to people and said, "Are you okay with this image?" And they're like, "Yeah, that looks lovely." And like I've shown it to hundreds of people, and they're okay with it. So
Yeah.
you'd notice, Jay, I'd notice, and we'd be like,
Well,
"Ugh, what's going on there?" But most people aren't noticing. And then imagine what the iPhone 16 will be at.
I know.
So
I
I,
know.
I
Well,
I'm all aboard the
yeah,
phones.
14's out in 2 weeks or something. They're saying they're taking pre-books. Might have to get that for
I'm not a
Christmas.
pre-booker, but I'm definitely
No, I'm
saving
not
up.
either. I'm always kind of a wait till the next gen, so like version 2 of a phone comes out. That's my opinion anyway. Resolution wise, when they're shooting, would you recommend to go kind of HD 60, or would you say shoot the 4K, get as much as you can in?
Well, what I do usually, and I suppose with the iPhone 13 Pro, you can record in ProRes as well. It takes up all, like, I think if you record in like the best setting that you can, you get about like, I don't know, maybe a half an hour on a 516 gig
Oh,
device. So it's like, it's bonkers. And
yeah,
I've
and
tried it out a few
good luck
times.
editing that as well.
I know, and like I don't think that I don't think that it's that good. What I do is I shoot in 4K for my proper stuff, but I edit on a HD timeline. So then I have the option to punch in on the person,
Hmm.
so I can use this or else I can use
Yeah,
that, and that gives me loads of options. So then I don't know about you, like, but you know, when I'm setting up a shot, I'm never 100% certain that I like the shot when I'm looking
yeah,
into
of
the
course. Yeah,
viewfinder. I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Oh, I don't know, do I like it? But
yeah.
when I shoot in 4K and edit in 1080, I'm like, you know what? I'll punch in if I don't like it, or I'll change something.
And that also works to like if you're editing to a beat or a rhythm that you can punch in and out and it keeps that same quality. We don't get that awful grain that no one likes, you know.
Yeah,
Editing software.
yeah.
You were just mentioning that is do you edit on laptop or like is this kind of a mix of everything if you're on the go, you're editing on the phone or what's the crack?
I used to be mobile only. I was completely mobile, and I used to teach people to plan, film, and edit all on their phones. But when the lockdown started to happen and nobody was leaving their houses, I was like, nobody wants to be like looking at a screen that size when they've got a screen
Hmm.
this side beside them. So around the same time, Adobe came out, and I'd use Adobe Premiere Pro for kind of professional editing. Is that what you use as well, Jay?
I use Final Cut on the other side of
Oh,
the
very
fence.
good. Oh, no,
You know.
no, I'm joking. But Adobe came out with Adobe Premiere Rush, which is like a completely scaled back, easy to use version of Premiere Pro. So in
Mm,
Premiere Pro, if I wanted to reduce the background noise of a scene, buses passing and stuff like that, I'd probably be bringing in like 3 or 4 different filters, messing around with all this stuff. It'd take ages. With
hmm.
Adobe Premiere Rush, you click reduce background noise and you kind of can scale up or down the slider, and it does a better job than I was
Yeah.
doing with all of my fancy filters in Premiere Pro. So once that came out, and it has animated graphics that you can
Oh,
drag and
nice.
drop, customize the color, customize the text. Like, I don't think, you know, I know that people don't appreciate what that means because, you know, back in the day, if I tried to create a name bar, like just a bar to come across the screen and then a name to come up, I'd be in After Effects for about 3 days going, oh my God, why is
I
this
know.
so
I
frustrating? And
know.
nowadays
I
it's
know.
like drag, drop, boop, do, it all does it
But
for
that's
you. And it's
it.
so simple.
Yeah, I was literally because I have the podcast with Niril that, like, even back in the day when I was in college, like syncing audio, it was a chore. Like, it was a chore. Like, you were spending half an hour just making sure everything's synced up. Now I literally highlight 2 clips and Apple G, and it syncs everything for me. You know, it's insane. I would recommend Apple. I would recommend Final Cut Pro if you're an Apple user. I have heard that you can't get that if you're an Android or a laptop user or a PC user. So Premiere Pro, most of well, I think it's kind of 50-50, isn't it? Kind of the field is 50-50, either Final Cut or Premiere Pro. Um,
I
do
think it
whatever.
used to be, and I think that a lot more people have gone Premiere maybe since they went subscription based, which is bonkers.
I think you're right there. I think there was definitely a spike, but there's massive issues with the crashing and losing data. Have you found that at
Right.
all with your stuff?
No, thank God. Like, I
No,
don't know, like
yeah,
auto save, but like I'm constantly in my auto save folder
I
looking
know.
back at stuff.
I have I've talked to people and friends who shoot and use Premiere Pro, and they said we're in the middle of something and it just crashes, and we've lost the
Oh
last
no.
12 minutes of editing or whatever it is. Like it's just I can't have that. That would wreck my life. Like so.
And that doesn't happen
Um,
to you with with filming
no,
or with Final Cut. Sorry.
Final Cut, no, not at all. For some reason, I'm lucky that it's like I've turned off auto render, so it doesn't render anything in the background because that just eats up time and space, you know. So it's just I edit away in 4K and happy out, you know.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Happy out. So let's say for the business owners out there who are watching, um, how firstly, is there certain gear that you'd recommend for them straight at the gate? You need to have this, you need to have this and this. And also planning a shoot or planning the idea of a product shoot, let's say, or a testimonial for whatever that be, you know?
Yeah, and this is where my whole approach to video making changed. I stopped making videos for the client and started making videos with the client. So every time I work with an organization and I'm producing a video for them, they are the director producer. I'm like, trying my best to empower them to be the director producer, and I'm just there pressing the buttons, and sometimes they don't need me to press the buttons. Sometimes they have someone super technical on their team and they can press the buttons instead of me. But when it comes to planning, like, I have this 8-step workbook. And it's literally because I don't know for you the same, Jay, but I used to go into meetings with clients, first time meeting them, nervous wreck. Like, you get in there, you all sit in the boardroom, they tell you about all their ideas, and you just write out like 15 pages of paper, and you're like, okay, I'll be back to you in a week with a plan.
Yeah.
And then for the week, you're pulling your hair out. You're like, I don't even know what their business does. Oh my God, electrical devices what is going on here? And you're just like, oh my God. And then one day I was like, why am I planning their videos? Why aren't they planning their videos themselves when they have all of this information stored in their head? They just need some kind of process to help them plan it. So that's where then this 8-step program came in. And the first step is asking, why are you making this video, or what is the purpose of the video? And I think that might be something as well that we're losing a bit with Reels and TikTok. A lot of people are creating content without a purpose. They just think that they should be to kind of grow their
For the sake of it. Yeah.
I think that's another topic. But so anyway, with the
it really
stuff,
is.
I know. I could talk about that all day. And I'm still figuring it out. I don't have the answers, but I know
everyone
there's
is.
Something off.
Even Instagram are still figuring it out, to be honest, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Very true.
Yeah.
So I asked them, why are they making the video? What is the key message? Who is their target audience? Where is the video going? When do they want to upload? And how will they measure if their video is successful? And that's step one. If I can get them through that, I'm like, okay, that's the foundation. On to step two. I asked them to choose a preferred platform. So while you can put your video on every platform, choose the main one that your video will go where, and then make the video kind of for that platform, but also make versions that you can put up in other places. Then we talk through adding storyboarding, scripting and shot listing, adding a hook, creating milestones for yourself, and then legal implications then is the 8th step. So once they're finished with that, then they own it. And I think they feel very confident, and they can all sign off on it. If there's, 12 or 20 stakeholders, they can all go, yes, I agree to this. And so since the day that I started doing that, there's never been that horrible phone call where Mandy, the CEO, doesn't actually like the video and we have to start again. I'm like, no.
And are you pressing the record button for them, or are you kind of just stepping back and letting them do their own thing, or what's the work? How does it work there?
Depends on the timeline and depends on who they're interviewing as well. Some people might say, I'm ready to take over now today with the camera and stuff like that. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do all the edit as well. But other people might be like, oh God, this person is coming in. They're kind of high profile. I don't want to look like, and I don't know what I'm doing in front of them. So then I'll be like, okay, just shadow me, just stand behind me, and we can talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. The beauty of that is on-set client approval, as you just said. Like, there's no worrying. In your editing, there's like, oh, I hope they like this, or I hope this. There's no worries there. Gorgeous.
They get exactly what we agreed on, and there's nothing extra. Well, there's sometimes I might throw in something extra, like I might spend a bit of more time on a logo, but things like that, I could spend all night on a logo turn and they might not even notice the logo turn, or I might spend all night choosing the perfect track. And I love the track. I've made the whole edit go to the beats of the track. And then they're like, I love the video. The only thing I don't like is the music. And you're like, no.
Yeah, searching Epidemic Sound or Artlist for like music for 3 or 4 hours. You're like, oh, I have to find the song. But there's no, because obviously then if that happens, it's the whole edit, it's a whole re-edit. Like, but that's the whole beauty of revisions, isn't it? And working revisions into a contract with a client, if they do, like I'm only one for my videos, and anyone I work with, it's one revision included in the contract, and then after that is billed extra.
Yeah, I think you're dead right. I think even
it has to be
is excess, and it always like you'll always. What did they say? A video is never finished; it's just taken away or uploaded. It's like so you could be all, and everyone is so subjective about it as well. I thought that I was doing something wrong in the beginning because like there were so many client kind of redrafts and stuff, and I was like, maybe I'm just not good at this. And now looking back, it's like it's not being good. It's just I have a different eye than some people do
Yes,
in
and
different ways.
I have nothing but respect for you dealing with the corporate world, because I've done corporate work myself, and it's like too many chefs. Like, do you know what I mean? There's 15 people in the boardroom that want to approve this video, and you're having to deal and impress all of them. Like, you know, one's gonna have a problem, and the others, and it's a minefield. But obviously, well, like the beauty of that, as we said, is client approval on set.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
and you're
that's
so
just
right. Like I remember one time getting an email and it was like, one of the stakeholders thinks the music is too fast, but another one of the stakeholders thinks the music is too slow. See what you can do. And I was like sitting there going,
that's like
what?
what the hell is he? What is he? What even is that? Like, just I don't know how that works. Like, how do you stop? Anyway,
Yeah.
that's what you're dealing with, though, and they don't like. And to be fair, like they don't understand that's to them that makes sense. If
Yeah.
you know that makes sense to them. So
I
it
suppose
is
when,
what
when
it
you're
is.
younger, though, and when I was younger, I was kind of doing more than I'd accept that as a challenge. I'd be like, okay, challenge
Yeah.
accepted. Let's find the perfect song. Whereas nowadays, I'm like, okay, here. And I actually use YouTube audio library, so it's completely free music without having to sign
Okay.
up for anything. And I will send the client to YouTube audio library and say, like I'm into the groove now of sending a lot of screen recording videos. So if someone sends me an email rather than replying, like typing and stuff like that, I just like start screen recording on my computer, and I'm like, oh, if you could just go to YouTube here, and then in the drop down menu you click on instrument or inspirational music, and then make sure that the license is free, and then have a look through a few of them and see
See
if you
what you
can send
like.
me one, and then it goes back to them. And like, I'm not doing it now to like give them more jobs or to give me less work or anything like that. It's just that it's so subjective, like, and I really
Yeah.
want them to be happy and involved in the process as well.
And again, it just frees up the process. It just allows room for more creativity, because that's taken care of. That section, the music
Yeah,
started. We're moving ahead now. Do you know?
totally.
100%. And the likes then of equipment, gimbals, this kind of
Yeah,
stuff. Because I've seen you
yeah.
shoot. You were shooting at the networking morning. And I shot with you. Well, we were shooting side by side. Um, on those kind of shoots, you have a gimbal and kind of headphones, or what's the crack, or
Well,
what would be your usual
now
setup?
that specifically was just going to be a montage to music, so I'd have a
Hmm.
very basic kit. Then I wouldn't take any microphone or anything with me. But if I'm ever interviewing someone, I will always use a mic. Sorry,
No,
camera
fine.
fell out. I will always make sure that I'm using a mic. But just to go back to that morning, say I would have maybe I used a gimbal. Was I using a gimbal? I thought I was handheld.
I think you're using gimbal. I could be
Maybe I
wrong, but I think you were.
was. Yeah.
Your shafts are
So
super steady now for a handheld, to be honest.
that's the iPhone. It's
It
so
is. The
flippin' steady.
stabilization's crazy. I know,
The
yeah, it's crazy good.
stabilization's nuts. Like, I was
So
using a
good.
normal camera there recently, and I was like, "What's wrong? Where's that?" Like, because it was like didn't have the auto stabilization
Yeah,
built in,
yeah.
but it totally freaked me out. I was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
how do you deal with this?" So this is a gimbal, and I do like these. I just think that they're actually completely overrated. Since the new stabilization stuff came in, they're handy for like walkthroughs and stuff. Where I'm not even going to put the phone in now, because every time I try this on camera, the phone starts wobbling around. But the phone goes into
I
here,
know.
and it just makes it really, really steady, and you can do lovely pans, or you can do nice tilts as well. So it's handy, but like, I find myself using it so much less than I used to. Now, it can be cool to have, but this is actually what I love.
With
This
the
is the
stabilization of that one, is it a hard setup with the gimbal? The
it's
stabilization setting up is annoying, or because I have the massive one, I have the
yeah.
the Ronin, whatever it is for my camera, the SC3 or whatever it is, and Jesus, I'm literally stabilizing it for 10-15 minutes before I even pick up the camera.
Oh
Like,
no, no,
it's just
it
what
is
it is. Like,
actually just like, well, now let me just throw it in there now. If I take the phone off here, stick the phone in there. If I get it up like just halfway up the phone, and this is the iPhone 13 now, which is pretty heavy. Like,
that's the Pro,
but
is it? It is, yeah.
yes, it is. Yeah, and then if I just turn it on, hopefully it's charged. It should just automatically stabilize itself for me. So that is not perfectly, but then
Yeah,
I can
but
press
still
one of the
though,
two
yeah,
buttons and it will go like
yeah.
that. But
Okay,
it's good enough, Now the camera's in the wrong place, but it
yeah,
is nice for a nice
yeah.
little kind of walk through or a pan or tilt or something like
And
that.
what
So
brand is that of gimbal?
this is the DJI
DJI as well, yeah,
Osmo 2, is it? Or
yeah.
something like that, or Osmo 5 even. thevidacademy.com/equipment has all of the different things that I recommend. And, I try to keep everything as cheap as possible.
Mm.
Like even my tripod, you know, back in the day when I had an expensive camera, my tripod was like €1,000. And nowadays I'm like, I don't need €1,000 camera.
I
This
know.
guy here is like 60 quid. It's perfect for a phone. Now I'm not going to try any pans or tilts with this. This
No,
is
it's
just
exactly what it
locked
is.
off
Yeah.
steady, and
Yeah.
that's what it does. And that's just, you know, been brilliant ever since,
Yeah.
you know, reducing the cost of all of it.
You were showing us the monopod there, were you?
Yeah, and I love that. I really, really like this because, you know, this fits in my bag and it can go to a much higher height.
Super
It
long,
won't go
yeah,
to
yeah.
eye level, but it's nice. But I like the kind of, it's not completely stationary like a tripod would do, but it gives you a little bit of movement. So if someone is kind of, you know, talkative and wants a bit of moving around, you can kind of move around with them, but you're not getting that up and down movement. You're just getting the side to side and the ability to kind of pan over with them. So that's a 30 quid thing, and it's just makes my shots so much nicer. And you can go really high up with it too if you want to. You can get kind of like sweeping shots and stuff like that, which are usually expensive.
Drone shots, fake drone shots.
Yeah, like
This is what it is. Like you see them all on TikTok. These fake drone shots on monopods. Like, I always found, because I used to shoot weddings and stuff. I used to use a monopod the whole time. It was just a lifesaver for my back because you're not holding the camera. It's like, but also what I found is the slightest movement made such a difference to footage. It just made it look like production value is raised. That's it. The production value is raised up. So I agree with you with the monopod. You can't go wrong with it. Like, and you just literally have a phone connected then that sits onto it, isn't it? The screws on the top.
Exactly, like a little clamp like this one.
Exactly.
This is actually, I found this the other day. This is for your car, for your windscreen. I haven't got one.
Would you trust it?
Would
you trust it?
Is I get a bungee cord and then I wrap the bungee cord and then I make someone else to go in the car with me so that they're holding onto the bungee cord, and like it's probably not very safe either. So
yeah. I was gonna say just to be safe, like duct tape or something all around it into the windscreen.
Yeah.
So we spoke briefly about gaining confidence and speaking to camera. Could you give some advice or tips on that for people who aren't to new videographers or content creators or even business owners who want to speak to camera more often, but are like, oh geez, I don't want to see myself. Do you know the reaction people have? Like,
they have, and you know, that's such a normal reaction. And like, you know, I suppose this has all come out. TikTok has kind of exposed all of my tricks in my workshop that people were like, whoa, now they're like, I've seen that on TikTok already. But like, you know, what I always tell people is that we're used to looking in the mirror every day, and the mirror shows ourselves a flipped image of how we actually look. So then when we see ourselves on camera, because our faces aren't symmetrical, we're looking at a weird version of ourselves and we're not familiar with it. And you know, the familiarity principle says we like things more when we're familiar with it. And because we're not familiar with how we really look, we don't like ourselves when we see ourselves on camera. So it's this weird psychological trick to just like, you know, just to really just get past it. And the only way to get past it is by becoming more familiar
just doing
with
it,
and seeing
just doing it as well, yeah.
But then at the same time, I do tell people, like, if they're on a Zoom call, to turn off their camera, because what ends up happening, like, is that you just, I don't know if you're the same, Jay, but like you just end up looking at yourself for the whole thing. You're like, you're worried that your hair is
I always try to make myself the smallest part of it. Like I had this, like we can do this double screen here like this and bring it closer, but I was like, let's just keep it this for now. And it's just because, as you said, your eye is always drawn. It's not even it's not a vain thing, or you're just checking to see if everything looks okay. And with that, do you think, for me anyway, I click mirror my camera? Do you ever do that, or is that?
I do, but I've got this program that puts my logo over my thing, and then when I do that, it mirrors my logo as well. So then I have to go back into Canva, switch the logo around. Yeah, so I try not to.
Yeah, I hear you. And with that, so do you think, is it just a matter of doing it and doing it and doing it, or is there certain like 3 steps to, right, try this first, do the second, do the third, or what's your word in that?
I think it depends a lot on the person as well, right? But I think there's a few things, like, you know, making sure that you're dressed as if you're meeting your audience in person, making sure that your camera is at eye level, making sure that you're making direct eye contact with the camera where possible, and that your lighting is good. So, you know, immediately, and your audio is good, immediately that's going to make you feel more confident, because you're like, okay, now I look how I'm supposed to look and people are going to take me seriously. And then after that, then like there's loads of stuff I suppose that we go through, but I would suggest some people use a teleprompter. Not everyone is good at the teleprompter, but if you can master the teleprompter, it will save you so much time. And I'm talking about an app. So what I do is I will hold the phone. So say I'm recording with one phone and it's in my hand here and the lens is here on the phone. Then I will use another phone and put it on top and have a teleprompter app on top of
You'll
that.
see the words.
So then they're reading what they're saying, and all we need to do then is get the speed right and the size of the text right, and then I can knock out a 1 minute piece to camera in 3 takes, as opposed to asking someone to learn something or trying to break it up.
And where do you see the future of all this going? Because obviously, like, digital is the way forward, as I said at the start of the chat, and as obviously phones are only getting better. Where do you see this going? Do you think, like, obviously you're seeing movies, full cinematic movies being shot on iPhones now. What, in your opinion, what's the future, do you think? Or do you have an opinion on that?
Well, I think the future is virtual worlds. Like it's metaverse land. It's wearables. It's kind of being able to pick up and record, like what was Mark Zuckerberg saying the other day on the Joe Rogan podcast, that he's got a camera that's the good enough quality as the front camera, I think it's the selfie camera on the iPhone, that is attached to the Ray-Ban glasses, and that can, you can voice command it to, hey, glasses, start recording. And that will, or go live, or, like I think the future, like I thought that I was futuristic a few years ago when I was teaching people how to make videos on their phone. Now I'm like, I don't even know what's going to happen. Like but it is probably going to be a mask wearing, all inclusive world around us of 3D profiles and stuff like that.
And did you ever get into the glasses? Have you ever tried them? Ever seen them? I've seen a few of them, but I've never tried them. I don't have any interest.
I really want to. I actually
do.
Really
You?
want
I've
to,
had no interest.
Just to make up my mind about them. But would you just be going? Do you know what it's like? It's like when those back in the day with the camcorders, like, and you're just picking up stuff and recording walls and stuff like that. I used to be doing that all day, I'd say.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, look, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I don't see any questions have come in, so we'll end it here. A final note for our viewers. Any recommendations, just, any word of wisdom, I'll leave it to you.
Definitely. I think the one thing I didn't bring up is the microphone, and I would suggest the Rode SmartLav is probably a great little mic to start with. It's about 50 quid, and you can just clip it on to your clothes. The extension isn't long enough, so I would suggest getting
it goes straight into the iPhone, does it?
It does, well, with this Harvey Norman €10 adapter. But I bought these. I get all my equipment in Barker Photographic. He's in Cork. Do you know him, Jay?
I do, yeah. I get his stuff as well, yeah.
Yeah, fab. And then he sells all the mobile equipment and stuff like that. And it's great because, when you shop on Amazon, you're usually forgetting some kind of connection. And then you're like, shoot days tomorrow, I've no connection. So it's
just bags full of collections, aren't you, going to shoots? I'd recommend the Rode Go Mic 2, is it as well? The little square guys.
These guys, they're fab.
Gorgeous, they're so good. And affordable as well, nothing too crazy, and you're getting amazing sound quality. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I want to say thank you as well for being a founding member of the collective. I really appreciate you joining us and kind of giving your time to us and sharing your wisdom in there and stuff. So I appreciate it.
I really appreciate you having me, Jay. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much. And I'll be in touch. I'll probably chat to you after this. But to everyone watching, we really appreciate it. Hope you got a good bit of value out of that. And thank you, Judie.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much again. We really appreciate you tuning in. If you are interested, do check out the Creator Collective. It is mycreatorcollective.com. It is a members-only digital community for creators and digital creators. So if you do have interest, please check us out, mycreatorcollective.com, or you can find us on Instagram, or if you want DM or have any questions, want to ask us anything about the collective, you can get us a team at mycreatorcollective.com. Join myself, join Judie, join Louis, who was there last week. We have other amazing members, and we chat to each other, we show each other's work, we recommend equipment, we ask questions if we're stuck. It's a great place to be, and we have released new payment tiers for memberships. You can now do annual, quarterly, or monthly, because obviously the world is the way it is at the moment, and people don't have mounds of money to be spending on annual membership. So we brought up the monthly. Even join us, get a taste of it. I know once you're in, you won't leave, because it's a great space to be. But do check us out, mycreatorcollective.com. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I really appreciate your time, and I will see you soon.